Ha! You funny. Tell Los to get down here. Damn Los. Hey yo Los. Damn Los, I thought I told you not to be on YouTube. What it do? It's your boy Lo back with another anime show, and today we'll be doing a reaction video to top 10 unappreciated animes you need to watch. And you know I love my animes, and you know this is where this channel really grows and thrive. I see a lot of viewers checking out the video, but a lot of my viewers ain't hitting the subscribe button. So please hit the subscribe if you do like my reaction to this video. If you want to see more content of Lo, just let me know, and follow me on all social media platforms. But without further ado, let's get into this show. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's get down and see what's going on.
Not much on this channel. Let's get started. It's no secret that I'm a fan of the urban fantasy genre featuring superpowered teens. You guys might be familiar with this genre thanks to some nice anime like The Index, Fate, and a bit more recently, Bungo Stray Dogs and Noragami. In the midst of all the great shows in the spring 2015 season is Blockade Battlefront. Considering
I've seen Blockade Battlefront.
Hachiman and Bell made their debuts, Nisekoi Waifu Wars were in full swing, and UBW finished off with a bang. It's not too hard to get lost in the shuffle. Not helping things is that despite being a show with a colourful cast blessed with interesting abilities, this series revolving around Leonardo Watch and his extraordinary experiences in Hell Salem's Lot ends up being a mostly episodic mishmash of adventures. I still think the show is quite nifty and definitely no slouch in terms of style. The episodic feel might not be for everyone, but I didn't feel bored watching it and eagerly look forward to the next episode when it was airing. In the end though, I think that despite some people's opinions of Blockade Battlefront being a style over substance show thanks to its episodic nature, it ultimately holds up and is a fun way to get yourself lost in some good...
I ain't gonna lie, I fell asleep. I watched it, man. I checked it out, and when I started it, it was because my brother told me to check it out, and I was like, yo, you know, I'll check it out. I watched it. I got maybe 50 episodes in. It was like, dog, this is boring, bro. Like, the fights were so quick. It felt like it was no really good fights in it. And I kind of watch anime for the fights. No, I do watch anime for the fights. But I didn't really like it, so I don't know about that one. I don't agree with that one.
The characters are fun, and the art and the action are all enjoyable enough for the show to be one of the better popcorn series right around the middle of the decade. Next in line at number 9 is Golden Kamuy. Before trailers or
I haven't seen this one.
I didn't really know what
I ain't seen this one before.
Golden Kamuy. I certainly did get my first major exposure to it thanks to the memes and clips of the hilariously bad CGI bear, but that's not really a good way to know what a show's about now, is it? So I decided to give it a shot, and I tell you what, I don't regret it one bit. Golden Kamuy at first seemed more like a gritty adventure series about survival. With the premise revolving around the Russo-Japanese War and the subsequent gold rush, I figured that the show will weave bits of history into an adventure narrative starring a war veteran and his partner Ainu girl. Turns out that I got more than what I bargained for in a way, and came out of this rather unique series with a more complete understanding of Japan and the world back then. That's not to say that the action's lacking, but I certainly felt the historical aspects of the show could be considered the main focus. Is it a bait and switch? Well, decide for yourself. Overall, Golden Kamuy really needs more love. It's a nice, notable subversion of the historical fiction genre where the action takes a back seat to more documentary-like moments that center around Ainu culture. I know that this kind of story...
Yo, I'm a history fan, man. I rocks with that.
It's at least worth a shot.
Yeah, I like that. You know, I'm a history fan. Like, I love history. So, like, I might have to check that one out. I rocks with that. That's kind of cool. All right. What is this? Rage of...
Games fans, especially those keeping their wallets thing and testing the never-ending gamble of the gacha with Grand Blue Fantasy and Shadowverse, might recognize a lot of familiar faces here. You see, Games has this habit of somewhat remaking and reorienting characters in their IP with their various franchises, which explains the sense of deja vu brought about by their first crack at an animated tie-in to one of their mobile games. Before hitting big internationally with GBF and Shadowverse, Game had this mobile game called Rage of Bahamut, and its animated tie-in is probably one of the more overlooked titles out there as far as Game series are
Low key, I ain't seen
feel that the series got
these last two.
because
I
it
need to
didn't
check
seem to
these
be
out.
anything too special. A medieval world of gods and demons has always been a tried and tested trend, but the fact that it's a tie-in to a game might have raised some red flags to someone back in 2014. I mean, I love the Wickcross anime and most card game shows, but let's face it, most tie-in series just don't break a lot of new ground unless they're already tied to a big franchise from the get-go. However, the ever-escalating stakes, the brilliant characters, and the nice art and world design completely surpass my expectations. Rage of Bahamut Genesis
Rage of Baha.
typical high fantasy, but it's one show that will surely catch anyone's low expectations off guard. And
yo, if you guys have seen any of these like any of these on here, let me know down in the comments, because I'm liking some of these, and let me know if they worth the watch. Because if y'all seen it, y'all like, nah, man, I ain't rocking with that show. I done seen it. It wasn't good. Let me know. But I want to check out some of these shows. If you have seen it, leave a comment below. Leave a subscribe, you know. Let's get it going. Let me finish it. I'm stopping.
Anime to remember. Games and Studio Mappa managed to take a card game world and make an absolute winner out of it.
I have not seen this either. Bro, I feel like I be slacking on the anime.
Gurren Lagann, Lucky Star, Darker Than Black, Hayate the Combat Butler, and a new Nanoha isn't easy. It's not hard to see why Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit, often gets overlooked or underappreciated when looking at anime in 2007. While anime fans were caught up with Grand Adventure Toward Freedom or Chilling with Konata and Friends, Production IG were doing a pretty neat job at adapting some Japanese fantasy novels. Enter Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit, the anime adaptation of the first book in the Moribito series that tells the story of the wandering warrior Balsa. In the series, Balsa's been tasked with protecting Chagum. Together, the two go on a journey across a great land that has obvious influences owing to Indochina. Sounds familiar? Well, it should do. In spite of the seemingly standard premise, Moribito more than makes up for it in terms of execution and character development. The art's also an extremely strong suit, with palettes resembling those you'd often see in theatrical productions. If you enjoy stuff like Sword of the Stranger or Rurouni Kenshin, Moribito might be to your liking. It may have been overlooked for over a decade, but I think the Moribito is a prime example of gems that you can find if you just dig hard enough.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know the
Garden of Sinners, okay.
Only know about Persona, specifically the game from 3 onwards. The same thing also applies to the Type Moon fanbase, with most of them supposedly only knowing Fate Stay Night and the billion spin-offs, prequels, and games that feature Saber, Rin, Gilgamesh, and some of Stay Night and Grand Order's iconic characters. To be fair, I'm not surprised that compared to the numerous Fate incarnations, Garden of Sinners gets much less love and popularity. While the action mystery in the series of movies holds up, it's by no means an easy watch compared to the straightforward storytelling of Fate and the Ilya shows. In the first place, watching the movie straight up, was confused because the story wasn't told in chronological order. That's to say that the beauty of Garden of Sinners strongly lies in its rewatch potential. The movie series is quite...
I just love anime because I appreciate like the artwork, bro. It's beautiful when you see stuff like this, man. It's like I could never, and I'm an art major. I can draw, but I could never, man. This is beautiful. I think anime might be some of the best art I've ever seen in my life. And
now, I think like Garden of Sinners before, Akatsuki no Yona is a title that most casual watchers have a brief familiarity with. You might have heard of the name before, or you might have seen some pictures of it with its signature art style and character designs. Akatsuki no Yona, known as Yona of the Dawn, can be described as Princess Yona's coming-of-age story. Born as the sole heir to the throne, her sheltered life of luxury quickly takes a downturn at the murder of her father. Barely escaping with her childhood friend, Yona's life turns upside down as she sees firsthand the real state of the kingdom. Her request to reclaim the throne won't be easy, but it'll certainly be a dramatic and grand eye-opener. In a vacuum, I don't think the series is really overlooked or underappreciated. It does have a fan base and was quite a niche hit back in 2014, but you've got to remember that 2014 was also the year of Your Lie in April, Parasite, Tokyo Ghoul,
yeah.
No Game, No Life. However, I
No Game, No Life. Okay, that was it.
To what I actually think it deserves. Visually stunning with an extremely engaging plot, Akatsuki no Yona, in my opinion, is one of the benchmark action shoujo shows of that decade that everyone deserves to at least sit down and take a look at.
Number 4.
obvious case in my opinion. Battleship Yamato 2199 is one of the most enduring series with a legacy to speak of. To give you a bit of context, it's a series that revolutionized the space opera genre in anime, and some people have called it the medium's equivalent of Star Trek. That's why when the remake started coming in a couple of years back, I wasn't surprised when it was one of the key recipients of the remake treatment. Nonetheless, at this time, it sits in the thousands in mal-popularity, and not a lot of people really talked about it back in 2012. I guess it was the medium of distribution to blame back then. After all, instead of giving us the remake in a full series, it had quite an erratic schedule that caused it to start in 2012 and finish in late 2013. And that is a shame really, because I think mostly that the remake of Battleship Yamato 2199 is one of the better ones out there. The transition of the series from the 70s to the modern era was done seamlessly and masterfully. It's a remake that does justice to the legendary anime.
Alright, I gotta check out a lot of these shows. What the hell, bruh?
Remake of some oldies, make sure you don't give this title a pass.
Oh God, I'm a fan for stuff like that. 91 Days. What happened?
The Prohibition era is probably one of the most popular eras in American history. Set in an era of lawlessness, 91 Days is a story revolving around Angelo Lagusa and his quest for revenge against the Venetti family. Sounds like one of those classic literature titles you've probably come across while
Come
in school.
on,
In
man.
terms of aesthetics, I'd say that it reminded me of Bakano. The story ends up being a slow burn, with tension slowly increasing and erupting in a big culmination in the climax. Revenge and crime drama stories aren't a dime a dozen in the anime world, so I sort of anticipated the show's fate when it comes to connecting with the typical viewer. Nevertheless, I don't regret picking this show up one bit, as at its peak, it's a gripping, dramatic story that encapsulates what you'd expect out of a dark thriller featuring this sort of setting. I barely heard anyone talking about the series when it was airing, and I definitely don't think I heard anyone talking about it after it finished either. And that is a shame in my opinion, because I think that this series deserves to get a lot more love than that.
Yo, facts.
Like fantasy? You're gonna love this. Join forces with your friends in clan.
Bro, all these dang ads, bro. These ads just everywhere. Ooh, dropped it on his head. What is this?
2018 was a year of hard hitters, and among the series introduced during that year, Hinamatsuri is by far one of the funniest.
He hit the
ones out
button.
there. The story of Nita's misadventures with Hina got quite a bit of traction when it aired a couple of years back, but I think the popularity it got was a bit less than what it actually deserved. Given how funny the show is and how witty it is as a comedy, I think that Hinamatsuri is a show that would be great to recommend to anyone who craves some quick laughs. The show's extremely strong in terms of writing its characters and their quirks. The jokes come out of left field and would leave anyone in stitches for hours on end. Comedy, character reactions, directions, and timing all come together to make this one of the best comedies of the year. I think that the show deserves more love than it got from the general community. And actually, now that I think about it, it was probably one of my favorite non-sequel animes of 2018. If you love comedy anime, please do yourself a favor and watch it. It will be the best decision of your life.
檻の中の地獄の釜の底で壮絶な日々を戦い抜いた7人の男たちがいた。彼らを支えていたのは勇気と根性と絆だった。
Now, where do we start with Rainbow? Not a lot of shows deal with the dark side of justice in the system of the world, and among them, I think that Rainbow is one of the more cynical and downright realistic ones in terms of showing how messed up the world can be. The gritty tale of survival featuring prison inmates has carved out a reasonable niche for itself back then, but then not a lot of people still remember
That nigga
it compared
edge
to
up
its
fucked.
contemporaries. Given the subject matter and the sheer graphic nature, it's not surprising that the show would be
Damn.
underappreciated compared to a lot of stuff that deals with similar topics in its time. With that being said though, I really vouch for this series because it's
What
not
the
afraid to go
hell?
down and dirty in its depictions of social injustice and the nature of criminal justice. Rainbow is a grim and dark tale of survival that's one of the most serious stories that I've ever seen in anime. Prepare your tissues, for Rainbow is a series that will take you on a wild ride and a whirlwind of emotions. It's a truly depressing series that shows some grim dark realities, and I think that it deserves more love for the sheer boldness it took, especially considering the medium of anime as a whole.
All right. Okay. We're going to end the video there. I really wanted to just talk about what we just saw there. Like, low key, yo, that was great. A lot of those shows I feel were more like along the borderline and edge of stuff that people ain't trying to see because they don't want to recognize reality of what's really going on out here. But I'm gonna check out a lot of these shows, especially that last one. I want to see exactly what all these shows are about. If you guys did like the video, let me know. Leave a comment and like, and subscribe if you want to stay tuned on your reactions when it comes to this anime stuff, man. And if you got some videos like, hey, yo, I want you to check this one out, let me know and I will drop it and we can get to it. I will be working on some more videos shortly, but right now the reactions is what's really kicking. I see y'all like them, so please like, subscribe, and go ahead and hit the follow. Give me a lot. You see the Instagram, you see the Twitter, you know where to at me at. Come talk to me. Let's get real with it. Let's let it make it happen. But without further ado, I see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.